Before we begin,
Sure.
congratulations on your achievement in the Asian Games. We all are very proud of you.
Thank you.
So, to beat the powerhouse of the game, to beat China, semi-final should have been the highlight of your campaign in Asian Games this time. So, how special was it?
Yes,
How will you rate it?
I think it was very special because, it's China is the powerhouse of this sport in this area, in this entire region, I would say. And as you know, the Chinese have a very regimented program in terms of government support, training, coaching, practice. And the system in China works. I mean, there is no doubt there is talent in so many countries. But when you have a system like that and it's put into place, when people are professional and they've got the best guidance and they kind of, I wouldn't say coerced, that would be the wrong word, but kind of pressured to be a part of that whole development and do all that it takes to achieve success. It's hard to beat them because remember that our players are talented, are very good, but most of us are not professionals. We have regular daytime jobs or other alternate careers. Yes, the program was instituted for India, and we have been working hard for the last 3 or 4 months, but effort for years and years can't be, equaled in a few months. So, but nevertheless, we managed to achieve that. It was the highlight. So getting it to the qualifying stage, guaranteeing a bronze medal was itself an achievement, but we obviously wanted to do better. And in a very close, well played, hard fought match, we managed to eke out a small, close victory. So that was very satisfying. Obviously, we were hoping to do even better and win the finals and win the gold medal. But I'll say this that one can't be too disappointed because we were not the pre-tournament favorites, and it was always going to be hard, an uphill battle to win the gold because it was a 10-day event, and if you see the average age of our players was quite high versus the Hong Kong average age was under 40. Our average age was closer to 60.
Huh.
And no doubt I was the oldest in the team at 65, but I will say this, I was perhaps the fittest amongst all of us in our team. And playing a grueling event for 10 days, stamina and other factors, because it's not as you think physical stamina, but you're using so much mental energy, you tend to get tired. And if your mind tires, the focus and concentration can lapse a little bit. And that is enough to make an error or errors and cost you the whole thing. Now, as it turned out, it wasn't a error. They just played extremely well, Hong Kong, China. And on that day, I'm not saying we can't beat them. We can beat them, but I would say our expectancy is that we'd win 3 or 4 out of 10 times that we played them. On these 2 days, they played so well, our chances diminished substantially. But, I would say for India, for Bridge, it was a very, very good achievement. And we are all thrilled to have contributed towards India's 100, coming to getting more than 100 medals. And a silver medal is not something to be disappointed about. It's no mean feat.
Since was the next question, since you mentioned the age factor, what do you think we can do to attract more youngsters to the game, and how do you see
That,
youngsters?
I think it's a very important thing. It's something that we have wanted or we have tried for a long time, for years and years. I don't know whether you know this, but I was the youngest national champion at 18, 47 years ago.
Right.
And now I'm the oldest Asian Games medal winner at this Asian Games uh, at 65. There's been a 47-year gap, and I've managed to maintain and uh, be. Some people think I'm probably at my best now. I personally don't think so. But I'm close to 95% of my best. I think I was in my best in my say mid 30s to mid 50s. That is perhaps the peak age for bridge. And no doubt, I think I have lost some, I wouldn't say ability, but ability to focus and concentrate for so many days, and it's not easy to just be error free for so many days, especially at my age. India is a very smart country and talent, but It's when youngsters perceive it as something worth doing, that is what can get them attracted to the game. We have some youngsters coming in, but nowhere near enough compared to, say, for example, Europe, um, Scandinavia, France, England, of course, America, Netherlands. Uh, at least 15 countries in Europe have made huge strides. They teach chess in schools. I mean, bridge in schools and
Mhm.
colleges, and they have an active program. And there are people enthused and are getting into the game. Italy, and also in the Far East in China, Singapore, Hong Kong, there have been active programs which have got people involved. Obviously, Australia, New Zealand, India is way behind in that. But I'm hoping that some kind of, when the people know that is a potential future to do very well and perhaps get some, a plan and make money out of it, then your youngsters will get into the game. So I'm hoping that happens, and I hope this is a step forward. But one doesn't know. I've always encouraged youngsters, and I hope that this is the point where things begin to change. Of course, without government support, nothing is going to happen.
So as you mentioned about the media, we'll go there next. So you said, as you mentioned, so there was not much of media attention when it comes to bridge this time. So has it been a boon in disguise in any manner? Because there were reports that the bridge team was staying away from social media during the matches. So
No,
how
I'll
has
tell you what it was. It's not exactly social media. It was these private WhatsApp chat groups. It is true. We were requested and directed by our coach and our federation to stay away from them, because you know what social media is about. Social media is everybody has a voice. They can say what they want, and you have a slight stumbling anywhere. People are quick to criticize and not as forthcoming to appreciate, and that can have a psychological impact on players. But negative feedback when you're in the middle of an important event can have a damning effect on your psyche and therefore affect your performance. So yes, that is true. So we were away from social media during the event. In fact, we were asked specifically and had signed a written agreement with the federation not to speak to the press. Once the event got over, we were free to do what we wanted.
great, sir. There are naysayers, there are criticism about bridge. They say bridge is fit to be part of the Asian Games. So what is your argument for naysayers or detractors?
I would say that criticism comes from ignorance, because we've always had this handicap from time immemorial, and people following a fallacious logic. Bridge is cards, cards is gambling, therefore bridge is gambling. That is totally untrue. In
Right.
fact, bridge is the antithesis of gambling. The skill sets that you need, the people don't even know that competitive bridge is played in the form of duplicate bridge. By definition, what does that mean? It means you are playing against somebody who has the same cards. That means you're playing four players in a team, A and B in one room sitting in one direction, say north south, and your teammates C and D sitting in the other room in the direction of east west. So the cards that you hold as A and B are held by the opponents in the other room, and vice versa. Therefore, the card luck element is duplicated, and that's how you can compete. How can you have a world championship? So because of lack of knowledge, because thinking that, oh, it's a card game, it's a gambling game and luck will prevail, that is not true. There is as much luck in a long bridge match as there is in tennis or golf or anything like that. Would you say they are gambling and luck games? Sometimes you get a bad ruling in cricket or tennis, and that can affect the whole match. That kind of luck does exist. And there are some other marginal luck factors, because there are some imponderables in bridge where you see, like in chess, the chess board is open. In theory, you can calculate every move for 100,000 moves ahead. But in practice, the human mind can't do that. And actually, therefore, computers can be programmed and have and can beat the world's best chess players. They cannot in bridge, because there are certain imponderables and there's a human factor. Reading what the opponent is doing and being able to assess that and make an intelligent decision. That's why there is some element of luck. And as the match gets lengthened, the luck element reduces. So I would say in a long match, the luck factor is probably only 2 or 3%, which is not that much. So it's because of lack of knowledge, because of ignorance, that people say it shouldn't be. In fact, I'm not sure whether you're aware, but bridge has been accepted as an Olympic sport. But we do not have a slot because the scheduling is such for the Olympics. A slot hasn't been given, and I'm hoping at some point it is part of the Olympic fold. And I don't know if I'll be around for that, or even I will get I get selected to play for India in the Olympics. It may be a long time away. I might not be young enough to do that, but I hope it does. That will give a big fillip to the sport. So I would say this to the naysayers: I'm sorry. Maybe it's because you don't know or the intricacies of facts of the game, and it's because out of ignorance.
So we had one medal in the 2008 edition in Jakarta. So coming from Jakarta to China, how was the experience different? How was China different? How was your experience in China?
I will say this: we did get a bronze medal in Jakarta, and we got a silver medal now. Obviously, that is an improvement. Unfortunately, there are other events besides the men's event. The women's event, we didn't get a medal in Jakarta or here. And then there's a mixed event where we also got a bronze medal in Jakarta. We just missed out coming fifth and missing the bronze medal, or better here. But in Jakarta, we had 2 or 3 more events in bridge, which are now no longer part of this particular games, where we had actually got Asian Games. We had got a gold medal in one of the events there. But my personal experience was about Jakarta versus China. Jakarta was also fantastic. China was another level because the kind of preparation, the work, the facilities that they had, uh, you know, put up for this. Hangzhou was a fabulous city. The people were so warm and welcoming. The Asian Games village was stunning, and they had helpers and facilitators everywhere. Language was obviously a problem, but everybody was asked to download the Go Hangzhou app, which had every possible facility, including a translation app where you could translate from virtually any language to any language. And once I figured out the transportation, they gave us, everybody had a complimentary public transport, metro and bus pass. And once I figured out the transportation, I was 2 stops away from where we were playing, which was next to the expo center in a chess hall, which was an entire building where the chess events and other events and the anti-doping facilities were. It was beyond fantastic. The best playing facilities I've ever experienced, and I've played extensively all around the world. It was awesome. The village itself was fabulous. People were very friendly, and I met so many Chinese people on trains, on the street. And when I was wearing the Asian Games accreditation badge, which was another incredible thing, that badge was an electronic badge which you wore around your neck, which actually was your visa. It was just, and it could gain you entry everywhere. People wanted to take selfies with me, young people, students, elder people. It was just an amazing experience. I mean, despite the initial hurdles of transportation and language, was overcome by the warmth and friendliness of the average Chinese people. Was amazing, and I have nothing, And India, or the next host of the Asian Games, has a very hard example to follow. It was great.
Great. Were you able to interact with fellow Indian medalists there? How has the sports fraternity in India has responded to your victory yet?
Yes, obviously, again, since a lot of people don't know, well, and this is a question I got even asked in Jakarta by many of our fellow Indian sportsmen as to which sport I was a coach of. Because it's not normal to see well, I'm 65, maybe I look a little younger, but I still don't look like a 20, 15, 20, 25, 30-year-old athlete, obviously. So everybody thought that I was an official or a coach. But I had to explain, and they were shocked and surprised to which sport can you be an athlete. So then I had to explain it's a mind game. It's similar to chess, but it's played in different platform with cards, etc. And I had to explain, in fact, the flight that we flew in on, we had our 4x400 team, men's athletic team, which are superstars. They won the gold, and they came very narrowly runners-up in the World Athletics Championship recently, where they missed out the gold in the World Athletics by a very narrow margin. And met them, A lot of my colleagues who were staying at the village met Anju and her husband, Mr. George, and met Neeraj Chopra and so many other athletes.
Before we wrap up, can you walk us through what's next for the team? What's waiting? What's the future plans?
That's a very good question. I think that, we must learn from this experience. We must come back stronger and we must aspire to do better. Now, for example, a month before now, of 6 weeks before this event, we were in Morocco playing the World Championship. And where it's like a World Cup where there are only limited teams, you have to qualify from your zone. And we had qualified from our Asia and Middle East zone. We had won that zone. And we were playing there, and only 8 out of 24 were to make the cut, the quarterfinals, and then play to advance to the semifinals for the medal rounds. Now, virtually 22 out of the 23 rounds that we had to play, that's one match per each other team. From the second day itself, we were lying between third and sixth. Going into the last round, after 22 of the 23rd round, we were lying sixth. And that's because the 21st and 22nd rounds, we had losing matches. And we were still lying sixth. And we were a huge favorite to make the cut, which would have been huge. In the last round, we played against the leaders, and our guys couldn't hold their nerves. And we got thrashed by the leaders, by Norway, and we got annihilated. And we just missed out on qualifying. Now, being in the top 10 in the world itself was a great achievement. And I think Indian Bridge has, at least the men's team, has come a long way. And we are there. We are capable. And if we had qualified in the top 8, that would be historic. It was not to be, and we have to come back stronger, learning from that experience that we have to hold on up. And that was a 14-day tournament. Having the stamina to sustain and perform towards the later stages of the event is something we have to learn from. We have to train, we have to be fit, and we have to do all of that. So I work very hard personally on my own fitness. I exercise every day and things like that. But as a nation, as a team, as a country, we have to get that regimen of, people will say, as a bridge team, it's a mental game. Why do you need to be physically fit? That again comes out of ignorance. It's because if you're physically tired and not physically fit towards the later, you may function fine for the first 5 or 6 days. After that, the fatigue factor does tend to come in. So you have to be physically fit. And obviously, the average age of the China-Hong Kong team was under 40. And they were very good. It makes that 5-10% difference, which can be all the difference between winning and coming second. So that's something we have to learn from and work hard towards.
That's all from me. Anything else that you want to share with us? You want to add?
I would say this, that about these allegations, or some of our top athletes had mentioned that they didn't feel that one of the throws of Neeraj Chopra was not counted because perhaps of some unfairness of the judging method, and Anju and Bobby George had said something about in their sport, about in athletics, or what happened. I personally saw none of that. The game was played in at least in my sport, because I was all consumed with our sport, was played in the absolutely a fantastic spirit, very fair. The Chinese who lost to us, the pre-tournament favorites, 2-3 of them are my personal friends from a professional circuit, were very warm, congratulatory, and they said you played very well and deserved to win. There was no animosity. And after the match, when we lost, I personally congratulated the entire China-Hong Kong team, and they were very appreciative of our sporting spirit, etc. So it was played in very, very good spirit. So I saw none of that personally.